James Bowie. Few names in American history evoke such an immediate image of courage, grit, and sheer tenacity. Known for his remarkable resilience on the frontier and his legendary role at the Battle of the Alamo, Bowie's life is an American tale rooted in both truth and myth, with a reputation forged in duels, business ventures, and armed conflicts. Bowie stands as one of the most iconic figures of early Texas history and the larger American frontier. In this video, we're diving deep into the life of James Bowie, exploring his journey from the untamed bayous of Louisiana to his final stand in Texas. We'll uncover his early years, his rise to fame, the tales that grew around him, and of course, the intense last days at the Alamo. Finally, we'll look at Bowie's lasting legacy, the stories, legends, and symbols that keep his spirit alive in American folklore and popular culture. So let's step into the world of James Bowie, a name as sharp as the blade that bears it. James Bowie was born in the Kentucky wilderness in 1796, though some sources suggest it could have been as early as 1795. His family moved frequently, eventually settling in the rough terrain of Louisiana, a place where young Bowie learned the essential skills of a frontiersman: hunting, trapping, and navigating the often harsh realities of early American life. Growing up in an environment where survival depended on resilience and resourcefulness, Bowie's early experiences shaped him into a figure well suited to the demands of the frontier. From a young age, Bowie was exposed to the rapidly changing and often dangerous American frontier. His family, drawn by the promise of opportunity, relocated to Louisiana around the time of the Louisiana Purchase, placing Bowie and his siblings right on the edge of American expansion. By adolescence, Bowie had become adept at the skills that would later define him: sharp instincts, a knack for reading people, and a boldness that set him apart even in a time when boldness was a necessity. These early years laid the foundation for Bowie's character, introducing him to the hard realities of frontier life and providing a springboard for the fierce independence and loyalty that he would come to embody as an adult. They were the training ground for a man who would soon rise to become both feared and admired. By the late 1820s, James Bowie had already earned a reputation as a man who thrived on risk, whether in business or in the frontier's informal codes of honor. But the turning point in his life, and the event that propelled him into legend, came on September 19th, 1827, in what's now known as the infamous Sandbar Fight. This was no ordinary duel. It was a bloody, chaotic showdown that would make Bowie a household name across the South. The incident started as a formal duel between two men, Samuel Levi Wells III and Dr. Thomas Maddox, each with their own seconds and supporters on either side. Bowie was there as a supporter of Wells, already armed with his now famous knife. The duel took place on a sandbar in the Mississippi River near Natchez, Mississippi. Although Wells and Maddox both missed their shots and settled the duel peacefully, tensions lingered between their entourages. Moments later, after the initial duel had already ended, heated words quickly turned into open violence. What followed was an all-out brawl involving pistols, knives, and hand-to-hand combat among the supporters. Bowie was shot multiple times, taking hits in the leg and the chest, and at one point he was also stabbed. Despite his injuries, Bowie fought on, relying on his large hunting knife, later known as the Bowie knife, to defend himself. Accounts say that he managed to kill one opponent and seriously injure another, despite being weakened from blood loss. His sheer tenacity and refusal to back down in the face of overwhelming odds made a lasting impression on all who witnessed the fight. The Sandbar Fight ended with several dead and wounded, but it was Bowie who became the story. His ability to fight through such intense pain and his ferocity under attack cemented his status as a living legend. Newspapers eagerly reported the story, painting Bowie as a fierce frontier warrior, and stories of his resilience spread widely, making him a symbol of frontier toughness and an icon of Southern masculinity. Following the Sandbar Fight, James Bowie's reputation as a fearless, hardened fighter continued to grow. But it wasn't just his prowess in combat that made him notable. Bowie was a complex man, deeply involved in the Texas frontier during a period of intense upheaval. Around the year 1830, Bowie moved to Texas, which was then part of Mexico, and quickly immersed himself in the region's political and military tensions. His arrival in Texas marked the beginning of his involvement in some of the most pivotal events in early Texan history. history. Although Bowie had first used his now famous knife in the sandbar fight, the weapon itself became a signature part of his legacy as his reputation grew. Often measuring over 12 inches in length with a broad, heavy blade, the knife was designed for close quarters combat. By the time he moved to Texas, Bowie's knife was known across the region, and many local blacksmiths began producing similar designs for men who admired his courage. The weapon became synonymous with his name, and owning a Bowie knife was a source of pride for frontiersmen and soldiers alike. As tensions between the Texians, or the Anglo-American settlers in Texas, and the Mexican government intensified, Bowie found himself drawn into the revolutionary cause. He first gained attention for his military capabilities during the 1831 Battle of Nacogdoches, where he helped Texians resist an attempt by Mexican forces to disarm them. Recognized for his strategic thinking, Bowie became a trusted leader in the Texian army. By 1835, Bowie's reputation as a fierce fighter and a loyal leader was well established, and he played a crucial role in several confrontations between Texians and the Mexican army. One of the most notable was the Battle of Concepcion in October of 1835. Alongside Colonel James Fannin, Bowie led a small group of 90 men in a defensive position against an advancing force of around 450 Mexican soldiers. Displaying tactical skill, Bowie and Fannin's forces used natural cover and superior marksmanship to overwhelm the Mexican troops, inflicting heavy casualties and forcing their retreat. Bowie's leadership in this battle further elevated his status, showing he could command effectively under pressure. Bowie's life wasn't solely focused on combat, though. He was also known for his ventures and ambitious pursuits. Among his most intriguing exploits was his hunt for the lost San Saba mine, a legendary silver mine that was rumored to hold vast riches. In 1831, Bowie obtained permission from the Mexican government to lead an expedition into Comanche-controlled territory in search of the mine. With a small band of men, Bowie ventured into central Texas, enduring harsh conditions and frequent skirmishes with Comanche forces. Although he never found the fabled mine, his courage and endurance on this expedition added to his mystique, fueling tales of Bowie as both an adventurer and a fearless leader in the wilderness. Throughout these years, Bowie's name became almost inseparable from the idea of Texan independence. His role in Texas's early military efforts and his willingness to take on challenges that others avoided painted a picture of a man driven by both ambition and a fierce loyalty to his adopted land. By the time of his final days at the Alamo, Bowie had not only cemented his place in Texan history, but had also set the stage for the enduring legends that would follow him. By 1836, the Texas Revolution was in full swing, and James Bowie had fully committed himself to the Texian cause. Having already played a crucial role in battles and skirmishes, Bowie's leadership, combat experience, and reputation as a Texan icon made him a natural choice for a command role. In early February, he joined a small, determined force at an old Spanish mission in San Antonio, the Alamo. The Alamo had little strategic value apart from its larger guns, but symbolically it held great significance as a rallying point for the Texian cause. When Bowie arrived, tensions within the ranks flared between him and Colonel William B. Travis, the Alamo's co-commander. Initially, Bowie led the volunteer soldiers while Travis commanded the regulars. Despite their differences, however, the two eventually came to a mutual respect, realizing they shared the same goal: to defend Texas against Mexican General Santa Anna's advancing army. At this time, Bowie's health was rapidly deteriorating, possibly from tuberculosis or another illness that left him bedridden. Despite his worsening condition, he remained committed to the fight, frequently directing his men from his cot and bolstering their morale with his determination to stand firm against the Mexican forces. On February 23, 1836, Santa Anna's army, numbering around 1,800 soldiers, arrived at San Antonio and surrounded the Alamo. The Texian defenders, numbering fewer than 200, faced overwhelming odds. For 13 days, the Alamo's defenders held out against Santa Anna's artillery and periodic skirmishes. During this time, Bowie, though confined to his bed, continued to provide encouragement and strategic input to his men. Even as his physical strength faded, his resolve remained unshaken. As the siege wore on, Santa Anna made it clear that there would be no quarter. Any Texian defenders would be put to the death. Bowie and the men of the Alamo understood that reinforcements were unlikely to arrive in time, yet they refused to surrender. Determined to make a stand that would inspire future resistance. In the early hours of March 6th, Santa Anna launched a full-scale assault on the Alamo. Under cover of darkness, waves of Mexican soldiers advanced on the mission's walls. Despite fierce resistance, the Texians were outnumbered and outgunned. As the walls were breached, Mexican forces poured into the Alamo compound. Bowie, too ill to rise from his cot, made his final stand in the room where he lay. Accounts vary on exactly how Bowie met his end, with some contending that he was unconscious or even dead by this point, but it's widely believed he continued fighting until the last moments, using his pistol and perhaps the Bowie knife itself. His courage, even in such a vulnerable state, resonated with both his fellow soldiers and the Mexican forces, who reportedly showed a degree of respect for him even in death. By the time the battle ended, every Texian defender had fallen, including Bowie, Travis, and of course the legendary Davy Crockett. Though the Alamo was lost, the defenders' bravery in the face of overwhelming odds struck a chord across Texas and even the United States. Remember the Alamo would soon become a rallying cry, galvanizing the Texian forces and fueling their determination to achieve independence. Bowie's death at the Alamo transformed him from a feared and respected frontiersman into a martyr and symbol of Texan courage and resilience. His final stand underscored his loyalty to the Texian cause, ensuring his place as one of the most celebrated figures in Texas history. James Bowie's legacy endures far beyond his lifetime, woven into the cultural fabric of Texas and the American frontier. Though he died at the Alamo, his name and image took on a life of their own, evolving into a symbol of resilience, bravery, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. Stories about Bowie, both factual and fictional, spread quickly after his death, transforming him into a folk hero. But beyond the myth, Bowie's legacy had left a tangible mark on American history and culture. Almost immediately after the Alamo, stories about Bowie began to circulate, many of which were highly romanticized. Bowie was cast as a fearless frontiersman and a fierce defender of the oppressed, his exploits growing with each retelling. Tales of Bowie often blurred the lines between reality and legend, describing him as an invincible figure capable of surviving any wound or defeating any foe. These stories played a crucial role in building the legend of Bowie, a larger-than-life figure who embodied the rugged spirit of the American West. Over time, these tales helped solidify Bowie as a symbol of courage, resilience, and honor. Today, Bowie's name lives on in numerous places, institutions, and symbols. Bowie County in Texas, Bowie Street in San Antonio, and James Bowie high schools across the state pay homage to his legacy. The Bowie knife itself remains one of the most enduring symbols of his life, representing both his rugged personality and his legendary status as a fighter. Collectors and enthusiasts continue to admire the Bowie knife as an icon of American craftsmanship and frontier history, and many replica knives are made in his honor. Over the years, James Bowie has appeared in countless books, films, and television series that explore the Alamo and the lives of its defenders. In these portrayals, Bowie is typically shown as a man of action, quick to defend his principles and unflinching in the face of danger. Movies such as The Alamo of 1960, starring Richard Widmark as Bowie, and The Iron Mistress of 1952, starring Alan Ladd, helped bring his story to a wider audience. These depictions, though often dramatized, helped to solidify Bowie's place in American popular culture as the epitome of a true frontiersman and Texan hero. Beyond Hollywood, Bowie's impact is felt in music, literature, and even fashion, with artists and writers continuing to draw inspiration from his life. His image as a man of action, a symbol of independence, and an unyielding defender of freedom resonates deeply, particularly in Texas, where his name is synonymous with the fight for liberty. In recent years, historians have looked more closely at Bowie's life, separating fact from myth. While the legends surrounding him are larger than life, the real James Bowie was a complex man, flawed, ambitious, and fiercely loyal. Scholars note that while he may not have been the indomitable figure of legend, his courage and determination were very real. His willingness to defend his beliefs at all costs speaks volumes to the values that continue to inspire generations. James Bowie's life and death have left an indelible mark on American history. Whether as a folk hero, a symbol of Texan pride, or a complex figure reevaluated by historians, Bowie's story captures the imagination and endures as a reminder of the grit and spirit that characterized the American frontier. His legacy, a blend of truth and legend, will undoubtedly continue to inspire those who admire his courage, skill, and dedication to the ideals he held dear. James Bowie's life is a testament to the spirit of the American frontier, full of courage, conflict, and unyielding determination. From his early days in Louisiana to his final stand at the Alamo, Bowie embodied the qualities of a man who lived by his principles, defended his beliefs, and never backed down from a challenge. His legacy, a blend of historical fact and enduring legend, captures the imagination of those who see in him a fierce independence that helped shape Texas and the American West. Through his legendary exploits, Bowie became more than just a man. He became an enduring symbol. His story continues to resonate not only with the halls of Texas history, but across the world, as a tale of bravery and resilience against impossible odds. And while historians may debate the details, one thing remains certain: James Bowie's name will live on as a reminder of the rugged spirit that built a nation, and the sacrifices made for the ideals of freedom and independence. So as we remember Bowie, we honor not just the man, but the legend, a figure who will forever stand tall in the pantheon of American heroes.